Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Had Deadpool's Ability Part 3. Other info, the USJ was huge news from the fact the best university got attacked. I told Nezu to let me take the fall for it so the league gets no recognition, but he said they needed to be known, so they can be actively hunted. That's dumb, I say as Nezu drank his tea. It's better than saying that Deadpool the Vigilante brought tons of villains. Then proceeded to kill them all in front of the new students. He stated, well, when you state it like that it sounds stupid. Either way, UA is going to be holding the sports festival. Do you want to join? Nezu asked me. No need, I will just be out doing my thing and gather some intel. I know you're just going to party. Stalker much? I responded as he nodded. No, but I am just going to do what I want, so bye, I shouted, leaving his office. I walk over to the support department with the door exploding the moment I touch it. May, I thought we've gotten past your exploding phase, one say as she looked up. Nope, also I thought you were going to take better care of your suit, but just yesterday it came back all in tatters and bloody. Well, I had an off day to say the least. Though I got my lead, so I am going to follow it. I said as she smiled. Finally, it's been a couple years, right? She asked, getting up. Yup, that means I will get that doctor in no time. She smiled, pulling me into her personal lab. Turns out if you explode enough things they get tired of your shit and give you your personal space. She bent over to open a cabinet, giving a great view. In all honesty, she pulled out a red suit that seemed more armored. I had this one in case you destroyed your green one, she said, handing it to me. Did I ever tell you we're the best fiancé ever? I asked, giving her a tight hug. Soon I hope to hear the word wife come out of your mouth, she said with a maniacal grin. Soon, very soon, I shouted, spinning her around. The teleporter will take time to fix, but I know you will be fine without it. So go crazy. Also, I will be in the sports festival, so be ready to see my advertisement, May said, showing me her gear. I will be there to see, I promise, I say, walking out as she held her stomach. I hope you do. Also, don't forget to tell your parents we're engaged, she shouted behind. Sure thing, babe. I visited Himiko for a bit as she seemed to really miss me, so I gave her what she wanted. Then promised on a later date to take her out. I left UA with a duffel bag on a mission that involved a lot of murder. Who are the League of Villains? I shouted, aiming my gun at someone against the wall. I don't know, he shouted as I blasted his head off. Oh wait, this is the wrong gang. Oh well, on to the right one, then I shouted, running down the road, then getting sidelined by a car. I roll with the impact, then get up very quickly. I got up to see many people with quirks ready aimed at me. So what do I owe the pleasure? I ask as they just charged, boring people to fight. I shoot the closest one in the leg as he fell forward. Another bullet enter his skull. I get socked in the face, so I grab the arm, twisting it cleanly off. I've gotten stronger, I shouted, choke slamming one goon into the entire group. I get doused in gasoline, then lit on fire as I continue to move forward. A little fire can't hurt me. Well, it hurts, but you get the picture. Give me a hug, I shouted, hugging one to death as the two of us burned. Unsheathing my katanas, I slice 4 heads in a row. They soon all backed up, seeing me filled with holes and burns. I would see a doctor, but I really hate needles, I said with my gut spilling out. You go back in there, I say, shoving the guts back in. Gotta say I am impressed with you, Deadpool, a voice said from the crowd. I look up to see large amount of ice encase me. The name is Destro. I am the current leader of the Metal Liberation Army. He spoke. Oh, I know you want to start a war. No, I just want equality. It's very simple, he said as a black mask appeared on his face. No, you want a world where superior quirks run it. Well, the weak gets picked on, so your utopia is a disaster. There are reasons why we have laws, I explained to him. Yet you break them. It's fun, I say, tapping his forehead. That made him take a double take. You were just an ice, how did you get out? Fuck you, that's how. Well then, I want to recruit you to my cause, Destro said, sticking his hand out. I reach into my pocket and throw sawdust in his eyes. Mother. I grab his throat and raised him into the air. I don't care for your whole change the world bullshit, so leave me and my family alone. I say, you are making a huge enemy right now. I put him down and look him directly in the eyes, taking my mask off. I just kidding, I don't care what you do, haha, the look on your face right now, I laughed as he looked at me angrily. Though on a true note, stay away from them or you will get hunted by me. I put on my mask, walking away from them as I headed to the bar. I checked my phone 2 weeks to get information so I could take my time. I gotta be early so I can see May using her babies in action. Fun chapter. Nagant, I shouted, entering in the apartment. A shoe hit my face. Nice to see you too, I say to the shoe, putting it down. I walk into the kitchen too and open the fridge. What to choose? Beer and beer. Do you guys want to talk about this? No, we don't. It's called ladies' night. Nagant says to me. Well, all I see is a liver and kidney failure, I muttered, getting hit with a stick. Move your ass, I want to drink, Al grumbled, walking past me. Okay, I have a mission. We find the League of Villains, Nagant asked. Yep, well, we aren't in any luck then. I already searched, found nothing, looks like they covered their tracks. Well, that sucks and really killed my mood. Might as well have fun, Ray. You want anything? I asked the newly black-haired lady. Oh, I need to get some new. I grab her hand and pull her. Great, let's go, I shouted as she just nodded. I'm coming too, I want to see the outside and chill for a bit. Negan spoke up, putting on a tan coat. The more the merrier. Yeah, just leave my blind ass here. That's the plan, I'll buy, I shout, shutting the door. Asshole, she muttered as she sat on the couch and smiled. Gotta love the kid. Izuku slowed down, Rei yelled as Izuku carried her. Nope, he shouted, jumping over a car. His body was outputting more strength than he was before. He is basically superhuman at this point, rivaling most strength enhancer quirks. Lady Nagant was right behind him, using a grappler that May made her for a better movement. So you took it, she asked as he smiled. Yep, it was painful but very useful, he said, jumping off a roof he climbed. Rei screamed in terror as they fell, holding onto him tightly. He crashed onto the ground, crouching down. His legs didn't even break from the impact. See, Rei, we are all good, he said, smiling at her as she bursted out laughing. That was scary, but really fun, she spoke through her laughter as Nagant landed next to us. We came to a nice All Might festival, and I slid one All Might themed mask on. Can't let people know who I am now, can I say. They both nod. We traveled through the entire festival, winning gun theme attractions with my expert aim. Say, Rei, you want that bunny, I ask her as she nods. Well then, I shall grant her wish. I took aim at the many targets moving and shot every single one with pinpoint accuracy. Sir, can you and your lovely girlfriend please leave because you will put me out of business? The guy running the stall asked me. Sure, bud, didn't know I was that good. I wrapped my arm around Rei as she held her bunny close to her body. Her face was a deep crimson. Izuku, that man called me your girlfriend. She stuttered out. So did you not want to be, I asked her as she looked at me. What about May? She said she's okay with sharing. I say as she looked away. I am too old for you. She said, tearing up. Izuku pulled her into a tight hug. You know I don't care for that. You could be a succubus or a demon that's about to marry Dracula and I would be with you. I said as she slid off my mask and pulled me into a kiss. Wow, Rei, here I thought you would never say your feelings. We both turned to see Negan taking photos. Suddenly the air began to hotter like you ate a ghost pepper type of hot. Izuku Tuia bellowed as he stomped towards me. Oh shit, I mean hey bud, how are you, I shouted. Chidis made herself known. Why hello, it's been a while, she said, patting my shoulder. Why haven't you visited, she said as Tuia punched my face. That's what you get for getting killed and making me sad. Sounds reasonable, I say as my face heals instantly. Rei studied him and recognized him. She instantly gave him a tight hug. Pissing Chidis off. Hey, let go of my man, she shouted. Mom, he asked as she nodded. Izuku, you got some explaining. He says, looking at me. Well, one day May and I decided to go to therapy. Well, I sort of made the guy quit 30 minutes in, so yeah. I broke out your mom because I felt like it. He nodded as he hugged her. Now this is a new story, Chidis said, taking out a notepad. Deadpool went to therapy and made the therapist quit. Gotta love it, she yelled. Sounds like a moneymaker, I say as she nods. Lady Negan didn't think I would see the ex-hero here. Chidis said as Negan glared at her. No talking about it, got it, Lady Negan says, giving her a death stare. You got it, but what made you turn? She pointed at me while ruffling my hair, this lovable yet very annoying idiot. Oh, I love you too, I say as she nods. We spent the rest of day having fun using Tuia's card. It was fun until he found out. He almost charred me with his blue flames. Soon we went all home with me and Rei taking a different direction. Rei, are you sure, because I don't want to force you into anything. I say as she led the way. I want to prove my love for you. She said as we went to a certain hotel. In the morning we left and were banned for life, so mission accomplished. I stayed with the girls until the UA Sports Festival came around and we all dyed our hair green. I joined even though I already had green hair because I wanted to feel included. I begged shut up you, I asked Nezu for the best seats tickets and Nezu just handed them over. Sports Festival. May was nervous to say the least. She didn't know why she had the best gear because she made it. She was in shape for the fact that Izuku wanted her to be safe in case he wasn't with her. Negan taught her martial arts along with a way to use her quirk in a more offensive way. She was still class as her teacher kept talking, she drowned the noise out with her thoughts. Izuku said he will be here to support, so that's a plus. I miss him, I haven't heard a word from him for 2 weeks. May thought and she clutched her stomach out of nervousness. May, she said, jolting up. Time to go to the stadium. Powerloader said as she nodded. Grabbing her gear along with a case that she specifically made for this event. Hey May, how you feeling? Toga said, appearing next to her. Fine, just nervous for some reason. She answered with Himiko smiling at her. Don't worry about it. You will do great and show the world who May Midoriya is, Himiko encouraged. That ain't my name. Not yet, till Izubabi finally says the magic words. With you walking into a church in a beautiful white dress. Himiko said, imagining the scene. That is still a long ways away for the fact everyone knows Izuku is Deadpool. May says, also imagining the scene. Who cares, what are they going to do? Kill him? Endeavor did that and look where we at now. Izuku is alive and breathing, waiting to see us perform our dreams. Himiko said, bringing up some solid points. You're absolutely correct, still doesn't mean I can't be nervous. Mei says, tightening the straps of her gear. Then smile, fake it until you actually feel confident. Himiko said, sipping a blood bag she got from nowhere. Mei nodded, walking down with the rest of her class and Toga. They avoided her for the fact that she is fiancé of Izuku aka Deadpool public menace number 1. She doesn't care, she has her babies, family and Izuku that takes care of her. They exited the tunnel to reveal a massive crowd cheering for them. Alright, let's all calm down a bit and let the top year 1 student do his speech. Can Katsuki Bakugo please come to the podium? Midnight said through the microphone. He walked up to the podium and took the steps to the top. He gave a sinister smile that unnerved the crowd. Then he began to speak in a very loud voice. Bring it the buck on if you want to be number 1, actually try, you lazy motherfuckers. This shocked the crowd quite a bit for the fact it felt like a direct jab to the heroes in the crowd. He left the podium, leaving an unamused Midnight. Moving on, the first event is an obstacle course. The higher your placement, the more points you get. Midnight explained as all the students got to the starting line. Suddenly across the entire stadium hundreds of confetti cannons went off with the colors pink and yellow, being the theme of the shredded paper. Omei, Himiko, Katsuki, Izuku shouted through a megaphone. With Lady Nagant, Rei, Mitsuki and Masaru doing the same. Izuku wore a disguise, his hair was all black and wore red contacts. His new name was Mikumo Midoriya, he insisted that be his new identity. Would you look at that crowd, the over-supportive family is back to cheer. Present Mech said in a cheery voice. Must they up the ante every year? Azawa tiredly said, looking at the cannons. Mei zoomed in to see her lover holding a sign only she could see. It read, "You can do it, I believe in you." Mei wiped a stray tear and got a determined face. She was going to go far in this tournament. Toga got determined too, by proxy, finishing her blood bag. Well, what a lovely family filled with love. Midnight cued as she started the countdown. 3, 2, 1, ooh. All the students began to run as chills went down their spines. Shoto instantly froze a lot of people in place. Mei activated her hover souls, avoiding the ice. She sped forward as she saw incoming robots. She smiled madly as she opened the case she was carrying. She took out a huntsman-type rifle that she built. It glowed pink and had a light hum as it powered up. Mei reached into her satchel, pulling out a certain type of bullet. "Time to buck shit up," she says, loading the bullet to the rifle. Taking aim using her quirk as the scope, then quickly did the math in her head, calculating the bullet trajectory. Pulling the trigger, a very loud gunshot could be heard across the stadium. Mei's bullet traveled fast, piercing through 3 1-pointers, then curved, hitting 4 3-pointers. The bots exploded as Mei continued forward. Izuku looked at scene with amazement, then turned to Nagant, who was smiling deviously. "You did this on purpose?" he said, turning back to see Mei absolutely shredding through the bots. She asked, so I said sure. Plus it's great to see the best marksman get outdone by his fiancé. She said, reminiscing about training Mei to shoot. To be honest, she's natural and within a couple years or so she will definitely surpass me in skill. Well, thanks, Izuku shouted as he pulled his parents into a hug. What is this about Mei being your fiancé? Mitsuki asked him. Let's get back to Mei's POV. Also, who are these green-haired wom? Mei stood in front the last standing 0-pointer. That Shoto didn't knock over, so she aimed her gun at it, setting it to the highest power output. Wait, this is my toy, Himiko shouted, riding on top of 1-pointer. Using one of the bots as a ramp, she sped up, going up it. She launched off of it, heading straight towards the 0-pointer's face. She jumped off the 1-pointer, crashing through the eye of the 0-pointer. "Time to take control of this baby," she shouted, overriding the entire robot, turning it into her personal mech. Looks like Mei also taught Himiko how to hack and build. Izuku said as Masaru held his wife from ripping Izuku head off. For barely telling her about his engagement and the multiple women he is with. "Izuku, you're just like your father." Masaru said to him, "What do you mean I'm like my father? The very thing I didn't want you to turn into." Mitsuki roared, scaring everyone around them in the VIP booth. "I will tell you when you're older. Now is not the best time to do so," he calmly said as he held back his wife. "Oh, okay then." Obstacle race. Toga took full control of the 0-pointer with sparks flying around her. A small drone flew through the broken eye of the 0-pointer. It showed Toga to the crowd controlling her new mech. "Hello, I am Toga Himiko from Class 1B, just watch me because I am going to be your little sweetheart," she said with cheer. Then promptly destroying the drone. The 0-point began to steam and moved forward towards the next zone. "Come on, my little iron giant, show mama some love," she shouted as it trudged forward faster. The students quickly moved out the way of the mech. Though some used it as their ticket to get ahead. "I shall be on my way." Hibari Shiozaki stated, using her thorny hair to climb aboard. "This will be fun." Kirotsuyu Asui stated, jumping onto her new ride. "See, Himiko, babies are the way to go," Mei shouted, launching a hook at the mech. It quickly pulled her to the sky with the help of her hover boots. She swung all the way to the head of the bot. She zoomed in to see Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki battling for the lead. The two have barely left the pitfall. Gotta win, what would Izuku do, she asked herself. What wouldn't he do, that's the better question. Focus May, she yelled at herself. Taking out a rocket pack, she popped off the back and overrode the safety feature she placed. Closing it up, then placed it onto her back. Darling, gotta show you that I am just as crazy as you sometimes, she shouted, shooting 2 hooks onto the 0-pointer's head. She began to back up to the very edge of the head, sliding down her goggles and then taking a deep breath. Letting her plan go into full action. Using her grappling hooks as a slingshot, she hopped into the air, letting them yank her ahead. She gained quite a lot of speed, launching off the mech's head. The wind blew into her face as she soared across the sky. Using her hoverboots to stabilize her midair, she smiled crazily. A smile filled with a madness that could rival Izuku's smile itself. She activated her newly unsafe jetpack that suddenly jerked her forward with great speed. She flew at great speeds forward, bursting her eardrums from the roar of the jetpack itself, quickly overtaking the people ahead of her. She located Katsuki and Shoto as they were a quarter of the way into the minefield. Himiko saw May fly above her. Gotta love her for her creativity, but I want to win too, Himiko says, leaving the mech on autopilot towards the pitfall. By that, she leaves the wires in specific way so it works like a broken pair of headphones you don't want to replace because you're broke. She explored the 0-pointer's mechanical skeleton, taking what she needed. Gotta say, this thing is pretty hollow compared to what it looked like from the outside. I think Nezu is being very cheap with these robots nowadays. She muttered to herself. From the stands, Nezu sneezed. Someone must have found out one of my secrets. He said to himself. Don't you mean someone is talking about you? Izuku asked him as Nezu stayed silent watching the race. Okay then, I am going to get some snacks. Ray, wanna come? He asked with Ray nodding. I'll tell you who wins. Negan said out loud. Don't. I already know what happens, but I don't want to spoil. Izuku said to her, walking out. Does he always say things like that? Nezu asked. They all looked at him and nodded. Interesting. Himiko took 2 fuel canisters and made a makeshift shield. Gotta be like May and Izuku, be explosive and have lots of things to say, she shouted, chucking the canister at the ceiling. Exploding it to bits, making a huge hole in the head of the 0-pointer. Suddenly the mech irked forward and stopped moving. Himiko looked over to see the mech got stuck in the pitfall. It looked like it would soon swallow the 0-pointer whole. She smiled, taking out a blood bag and placed it into her mouth. Placing the highly explosive canister down, she backed up with her shield. Sprinting forward, she jumped up, slamming the shield onto the canister. From the outside, another explosion went off. This time collapsing the 0-pointer forward. Its body made a bridge for the rest of the students, so they quickly made their way through the pitfall. Whoa, mighty explosion there now, where is our little vampire? Mech spoke through the microphone. Ah, there she is, flying like a rocket. Himiko flew across the sky very quickly. Though the one problem she had is one that May also had. The problem was how they were going to land. May unstrapped her jetpack, letting it fly into the sky where it soon blew up. Glad I took that off, she cheerfully said, activating her hoverboots, slowing her descent drastically. Though the solution was more primitive, but was worth a shot. She drank the blood from the blood bag the moment she slammed onto the mine-filled ground. Another massive explosion going, sending her ragdoll body forwards. She rolled past the exit of the minefield, with her entire skeleton broken in many places that were vital. Along with many burns across her body, also followed by deep gashes. Though very quickly her body began to heal from her wounds. She got up as May zoomed past her with her hoverboots and grappling hooks that suspiciously look very similar to ODM gear from Attack on Titans. Zuzu, I love your wonderful blood, she shouted, running after May with Katsuki and Shoto behind her. The blood she drank was filled with Izuku's hyper-healing blood, one that could heal wounds if ingested or injected. Also, for a short time, make the said person stronger than the average person. May crossed the finish line with Toga close behind her. Katsuki got third, with Shoto scowling at his placement being fourth. Izuku and Ray got lost trying to get to the snack bar. See, they won like I said. He stated with smiling, holding his arm. Izuku stopped to see a towering man in front of him with fire covering him. Ray hid behind Izuku as he smiled, looking at the said person. The man scowled at him as Izuku deepened his smile, making him look far more insane. Hello, Endure. There is only one person that would ever have the balls to say that to me directly. He stated as his flames became brighter, glaring at Izuku. Deadpool, right on the money, big boy. Cavalry battle. May made her team consisting of Uraraka, Bakugo and Toga. She was the rider with her rifle strapped to her back. Midnight started the round with everyone going after her. From her belt buckle she chucked smoke bombs. Gotta love the sight, well I do, because I can see you all, she shouted, activating her goggles infrared mode. Think care, I can't see shit, Bakugo shouted. Well I can, so just follow my lead, she answered as Uraraka made them float. Activating her grappling hooks, they quickly made their way through air. They soon felt a sudden chill. Soon a massive iceberg pierced through smoke heading towards them. Buck off, icy hot, Katsuki shouted, unleashing a massive explosion, destroying the incoming attack. The smoke dispersed, showing Shoto's team that hardened looks. determined to take the 1 million band from Mei. Mei landed unstrapping her rifle and loading a bullet in. "You guys think he is going to give us the cold shoulder?" Mei asked with Katsuki and Himiko groaning at her joke. "I thought it was funny." Uraraka spoke up. "Good to know someone likes my jokes other than my fiancé," Mei said, patting her head. "Hey, let's deal with the emo popsicle first," Himiko stated as they rushed them. Mei shot her bullet, destroying an incoming attack of ice. "Looks like he is not much of a talker," Himiko shouted as they took off into the air again. All the teams were converging on them as Mei and her team continued to outmaneuver them. Izuku and Endeavor glared at each other. Endeavor towered over the smaller Vigilante. His eyes shifted to the green-haired woman that was hiding behind Izuku. "Is she your woman?" Endeavor asked him, with Izuku responding, "She is. Why do you ask? Want tips how to get one?" Endeavor's flames grew brighter and more vibrant. "No, I just need to make sure you don't get a spawn," he shouted, powering up an attack. Izuku picked up a scared Ray and ran down the hallway. "Don't run, my fire will still reach you," he bellowed, unleashing the flames. They flooded down the hall, scorching it. It jazzed Izuku as he looked for an exit for Ray to be safe. He can take the fire, she can't. She has a cold resistance, meaning she can be burned very easily. "Don't worry honey, I will put him in his place," Izuku assured her. "Don't get killed please, I can't take it again," she whispered to him. "I promise after this we can get some drinks, just me and you." She smiled as Izuku smashed through a side door with his back. The fire passed him and ceased. "Stay here and I will come right back. Also hold these," he said, handing her his pants. She blushed and nodded as he left. She looked at the pants and had an impure thought. Izuku dashed towards Endeavor as he shot more flames. "Burn the gates of hell, we'll see you again," he shouted as Izuku marched through the fire. "That won't work again, you flaming trash bag," Izuku shouted, hopping through the fire fully charred. His skin rapidly healed and regrew, as did his fluffy hair. "You will die again, Deadpool," Endeavor shouted, catching and grabbing Izuku's face and igniting his hand. The flames quickly changed from bright orange to bright blue. Izuku smashed his foot into Endeavor's chest, sending him flying back. "Fire won't kill me," Izuku shouted, regenerating from his wounds. "I am way past that, not even a nuke will kill me," he boasted, with Endeavor sending another torrent of fire. Izuku shrugged it off. "Looks like someone doesn't like to learn," he said, annoyed as multiple wooden spikes pierced through him behind him. "Sorry Endeavor, it took me a while to get your distress call, the rest will soon be here," Kamui Wood shouted, with Izuku turning his head to him. "Bro, I'm not a vampire, so don't stake me through the heart." Izuku rotated his entire body, then slammed his knee into Kamui's mask, launching him back. "I got a game to watch, so get out of my way," Izuku yelled as some more heroes came. "See, you guys are so unimpressive, the author didn't name you," he shouted, running at them. Mei shot another bullet, destroying Momo's creations as Bakugo blasted Dark Shadow away from them. Himiko used a drop staff from Momo to fend away Minama. "Why are you with class 1 a trash?" she shouted at her cause. "I can make my own choices, you narcissistic prick," she shouted at him. Uraraka threw up sparkles and rainbows, making people avoid her because they didn't want to get barf on them. "You is that her quirk?" Mei chuckled as the timer rang, meaning the round ended. "Time's up, looks like I win," Mei gloated as they glared at her. Uraraka kept throwing up, so Mei picked her up bridal style. "Let's go barfy to the nurse," she shouted, using her hoverboots to speed off. They soon make it and Mei places Uraraka down on a bed, handing her a bucket. "Thanks Bligger," Uraraka spoke, then promptly throwing up in the bucket. "It's no problem," Mei started to talk until a cane smashed her shin. "Idiot girl, I told you, take it easy," Recovery Girl shouted at her as Mei rolled her eyes. Recovery Girl sees this and hits her shin again. "Hey, stop that, I am fine." "The hell you are using a high-powered rifle to fight. The amount of recoil your body is taking is not good for the..." Mei cuts her off. "I am fine, that's why I added extra padding for my cloths just in case," Mei says as Recovery Girl shook her head. Uraraka finally stopped throwing and talked. "Hatsum, are you?" "Yes, don't tell him yet, I want it to be a surprise," Mei says, holding her stomach. "Not yet." Izuku smashed the last hero's face to the wall as Endeavor smashed his fist into Izuku's face. "You're lucky I stopped killing," Izuku said, getting up naked because Endeavor burned away his clothing. "You are a monster, one that should be put down. Once you're down, I will personally abort any child with your DNA," he shouted, pissing Izuku off. "If I ever have a child, I will never let someone like you even look at them," Izuku shouted, being lit on fire again. Izuku smashed his fist into Endeavor's jaw. Endeavor countered by grabbing Izuku's head and repeatedly smashed it into the wall, cracking it. Izuku twisted his entire body from the neck down, landing a high kick square to his chin, knocking Endeavor back, giving Izuku time to twist head back into place. Endeavor was bruised and bloody, while Izuku was regrowing his cracked skull and covered in blood that was not his. "You will die one day, Deadpool." Endeavor said. "I may not be the one to do it, but it will happen, sure it will, and on that day I will send you a friend request. Death knows you need some." Izuku countered, getting lit on fire again, burning away the blood on him. Suddenly a loud bang could be heard as Endeavor fell forward. Izuku looked to see his blonde lover with a folded chair in her hands. Hey Zuzu, Toga shouted, stepping over the knocked out heroes. You've been busy. Yeah, before you say anything, I didn't start it. I mean, I did call him a name that sold me out. Suya, he started it for sure, he said, scratching his head. She looked down to see that he was fully naked. She smiled with a bit of drool. They walked down the hall after leaving a little note on Endeavor saying that, I am banging your wife, she's mine now. Soon they make it to Ray to see she was sniffing his jeans. You took a while and I got curious, Ray stammered as Toga smiled. Zuzu, we're on break for 45 minutes. Suo, we got some time. Himiko stated, taking off her UA blazer with Ray taking off her shirt as well. Izuku looked at them up and down, then decided his choice. Okay, only 20 minutes. Is it too late to get the milk? May walked through the halls to find the snack bar. She was starving, was beginning to have weird cravings like jalapenos covered in mustard. It was all weird to her. She followed the signs and took a turn, bumping into some familiar people. She looked at them and only think of a couple words. Oh, buck off. Izuku finished with a satisfied Ray and Himiko looking at him. That was great. He said, putting on his pants on. Hey, let's go get some food, he says. No thanks Zuzu, I am already full. I am just going to use the showers. Ray, wanna come? Himiko asked with Ray nodding. Okay then. Izuku said as they limped away. At least I got readers with me. He muttered, trying to find the snack bar. May looked at the said people that were supposed to be her parents and siblings. Her father had an enraged face with her mother having a stern one right behind him. Her siblings had snide faces that pissed May off. The constant face that they've made towards her since their quirks came. You are coming home right this second. Her father stated no. May answered back. I am your father and what I say goes. He said, gritting his teeth, trying not to yell. Yeah, May, we missed you, her sister said with an underlying tone of sarcasm. Honey, give up on this fever dream. You don't have a quirk suited for inventing or being a hero. Just come home, we will pay for any school you want. Her mother stated in tone that lacked any sincerity. May looked at them and sighed. First off, my language. Buck no. She said, flipping them off. I am going to follow my dreams and I don't need a quirk to do it. I am going to be the greatest inventor and a hero. That is not how you talk to me, young lady, her father shouted at her. Okay then, sperm donor. You can't talk to your father like that, her egg donor spouted. The hell I can't. Ever since I got my quirk you treat me like a lesser person, May shouted at them. No, we didn't. Yes you did, don't deny it. You shattered my dreams, you gave my room away to my shit siblings and put me in a dirty ass garage that had no air conditioning, May shouted at them. I got less food, sometimes you didn't even give food. I learned to build with no help and built everything I need from scraps. My siblings got the love I wanted because they got better quirks. The moment I got mine you forgot about me. I bet that you don't know my interest, hobbies or my damn birthday, May screamed at them as tears streamed from her eyes. May, her sperm donor, tried to talk with May, cutting him off. You know what, I don't need you, I don't need anything from you. I got my dream life already, so any bullshit you say will not change my mind, she shouted them. The only thing that connects us is blood, hell, even my last name is not even related, you guys. The last statement shocked her parents. May, you didn't, her mother spoke up. She should have ring to them. I got married to a wonderful person, took me out of your hellhole you call a home. May lied to piss them off more for the fact that she wasn't married yet. Her father remembered seeing a single person that has ever come over for May. He had green hair and bright green eyes with a vulgar sense of humor. That boy, he took you, her father shouted. Yep, now I am happy to call myself May Midoriya Bakugo, she stated, wiping her tears away. You got married, her mother shouted. That what I just said, Dumbus, May retorted. Then y'all fight somewhere else because I am starving for a chimichanga. May walked through the halls to find the snack bar. She was starving, was beginning to have weird cravings like jalapenos covered in mustard. It was all weird to her. She followed the signs and took a turn, bumping into some familiar people. She looked at them and only think of a couple words. Oh, buck off. Izuku finished with a satisfied Ray and Himiko looking at him. That was great. He said, putting on his pants on. Hey, let's go get some food, he says. No thanks Zuzu, I am already full. I am just going to use the showers. Ray, wanna come? Himiko asked with Ray nodding. Okay then. Izuku said as they limped away. At least I got readers with me. He muttered, trying to find the snack bar. May looked at the said people that were supposed to be her parents and siblings. Her father had an enraged face with her mother having a stern one right behind him. Her siblings had snide faces that pissed May off. The constant face that they've made towards her since their quirks came. You are coming home right this second. Her father stated no. May answered back. I am your father and what I say goes. He said, gritting his teeth, trying not to yell. Yeah, May, we missed you, her sister said with an underlying tone of sarcasm. Honey, give up on this fever dream. You don't have a quirk suited for inventing or being a hero. Just come home, we will pay for any school you want. Her mother stated in tone that lacked any sincerity. May looked at them and sighed. First off, my language. Buck no. She said, flipping them off. I am going to follow my dreams and I don't need a quirk to do it. I am going to be the greatest inventor and a hero. "That is not how you talk to me, young lady," her father shouted at her. "Okay then, sperm donor. You can't talk to your father like that," her egg donor spouted. "The hell I can't. Ever since I got my quirk you treat me like a lesser person," May shouted at them. "No, we didn't." "Yes you did, don't deny it. You shattered my dreams, you gave my room away to my shit siblings, and put me in a dirty ass garage that had no air conditioning," May shouted at them. "I got less food, sometimes you didn't even give food. I learned to build with no help and built everything I need from scraps. My siblings got the love I wanted because they got better quirks. The moment I got mine you forgot about me. I bet that you don't know my interest, hobbies or my damn birthday," May screamed at them as tears streamed from her eyes. May, her sperm donor, tried to talk with May, cutting him off. "You know what, I don't need you, I don't need anything from you, I got my dream life already, so any bullshit you say will not change my mind," she shouted them. "The only thing that connects us is blood, hell, even my last name is not even related, you guys." The last statement shocked her parents. "May, you didn't," her mother spoke up. She should have ring to them. "I got married to a wonderful person, took me out of your hellhole you call a home." May lied to piss them off more for the fact that she wasn't married yet. Her father remembered seeing a single person that has ever come over for May. He had green hair and bright green eyes with a vulgar sense of humor. "That boy, he took you," her father shouted. "Yep, now I am happy to call myself May Midoriya Bakugo," she stated, wiping her tears away. "You got married," her mother shouted. "That what I just said, Dumbus," May retorted. "Then y'all fight somewhere else because I am starving for a chimichanga." Sport festival interruption. May walked onto the arena with her gear strapped on. To see a certain speedster that stared at her angrily. "Alrighty, let's begin the first fight. On one corner we have class 1 at 10 you eat a present," Mech shouted into his mic. "On the other we have the support class star pupil and most destructive May Hatsu. Wait, oh okay, but you owe me." "May Midoriya Bakugo present," Mech shouted as May smiled brightly. Midnight walked up. "Okay, no taking it too far, and if you step out of the ring you're out," Midnight informed as the two nodded. "Begin." Iida sped forward towards May as she stood still. He went for a high kick and May smiled. "Self-defense," she sung, pulling the trigger to her high-powered rifle. The gun was aimed at ground. The recoil of the rifle sent it directly into Iida's balls. He fell over holding them while every man in the stadium felt his pain. "Ahahaha, good going babe," Izuku shouted as he left the announcer's booth. "Sorry Mr. Roboto, I gotta make my lover laugh," May said, picking up Iida over her head with ease. She dropped him out the ring as he trembled on the ground. "Aha, looks like May here used a certain male weakness to win. So we have a winner," Midnight shouted as the crowd gave her small claps. May proudly walked off wearing her win on her sleeve. "Gotta say I am on a roll today. Minus the shitty family reunion," May happily said to herself, and Himiko passed her. "Wish me luck," she said. "You don't need it, to kick ass," May shouted. "Thanks. Love you," Himiko shouted, turning around. "I love you as well," May said, walking away. Himiko blushed and smiled as she entered the arena to see Kaminari. "Hey, after this you wanna go on a date?" he asked as a red dot appeared on his forehead. Himiko turned to see Izuku holding a sniper with May holding her rifle as well, aiming at him. "He begins to sweat profusely. It was a J joke," he shouted, waving around his arms. "Begin." "Sorry if this hurts." "Full release," Kaminari shouted, releasing a bunch of electricity heading straight towards Himiko. She gets shock as it coursed through her body. It was littered with multiple lightning scars. The crowd grew quiet as Himiko ran towards the brain-dead Kaminari. Her skin rapidly healed and she slammed her fist into this gut, sending him flying out the ring. Kaminari got up with a derpy face on. "Yay," he said, giving a thumbs up. Himiko raised her fist into the air as the crowd cheered. "How did you like that? Wasn't it spectacular?" Himiko shouted as the crowd yelled in response. She left the ring as her body fully healed over. "Gotta say I'm so happy you won that," Izuku said at the end of the tunnel. "Like my little trick?" she asked as he nodded. "I transformed my entire insides into yours. So I was able to use your healing," she explained, biting into his shoulder. "It makes me thirsty though. I need to get some cloths. I am just wearing pants full commando, but it feels nice," Izuku says. After 10 minutes he hears a massive explosion goes off. "How was that, you steel bastard?" "Colossus is in this universe?" he asked as he looked at a screen to see Katsuki launching the Kirishima knockoff out the ring. "Man, I really did get exited," he whined as he felt a hand on his ass. Izuku looked over to see a very lust-filled Himiko. "When I said thirsty it meant both the terms," she says, biting her lip. "Okay," Izuku said as they went to an empty room. May watched as Shoto Todoroki beat Zero in one shot, looking very angry. "Looks like Frosty the emo snowman is mad," May shouted, eating some french fries. Mitsuki was calling multiple people, yelling at her phone with demands. "Phew, that's all taken care of. We got the place, the theme, and food. We need guests and people to invite. Also, what type of cake?" Mitsuki asked her. "Coffee or chocolate? Either one is good," May shouted as she saw someone float away. "Looks like Kirishima is out by Class 1 Aizuraraka, who defies the laws of physics." That was one long fight, folks. Now for the next match, President Mech shouted as the crowd exploded in cheers. "How Birdhead and Spiral Hair Girl are fighting. Wonder who wins, Mei shouted, writing down some suit upgrades. She zoomed into the fight to see Momo making a shield. Welp, she is going to lose. The best chance she has is to make flashbangs or a flamethrower, Mei shouted, thinking about quirk upgrades. Aoi Rozu is out of bounds, Midnight shouted, with Momo looking down, seeing that she was over the line. I really lost that fast, she thought as she walked down the hall to see a bite-filled Izuku exit a room with Toga leaving as well, limping away. Oh hey, how was the you lost? How did you know, she asked the tears. He said as Momo realized and wiped them away. I got the perfect fix, he shouted, picking her up. Wait, Izuku didn't listen to her pleads. He jumped from side to side against the walls. At a very fast speed, soon he landed, coming to a complete stop. How do you feel now? Confused. Why did you do that? To make you stop being sad, Izuku says, putting her down. She didn't feel sad anymore, just overall confused why the most feared murderer is so carefree. Why did you help? Cause I wanted to, of course. He isn't as bad as he proclaimed in media minus the murder. Momo thought as Shoto came out of nowhere. He slammed his hand to Izuku's throat, freezing it over. His face was filled with rage, with little sparks of fire coming off of him. Where is my mother? He ordered as Izuku laughed. You found your beat-up dad. I thought you would be happy about it. Izuku said as Momo shoved Shoto to the side, releasing Izuku. Stay out of it, Shoto shouted, freezing Momo still. Izuku became enraged and slammed his fist into Shoto's jaw, knocking him out, also sending him through the wall. Don't touch her, he shouted at the knocked out Shoto. He turned to Momo. Sorry for this, he said, kicking her, shattering the ice off her. You good, he asked Momo. She nodded. What about his mother? Oh, that I am dating his mother. He said nonchalantly. I can see why he did that, you. Momo says, sweat dropping at his sudden change in moods. This is Endeavor. Deadpool is in the stadium, hunt him down. Any civilians leave for your own safety, Endeavor shouted into the mic. That message relayed through the entire stadium. Everyone began to panic and the students sat still. The hell did that idiot do this time, they all thought. Well shit, okay Momo sweetie, I need a favor, Izuku asked with Momo nodding. I need my suit and I will owe you. Sure thing, Midoriya. Momo said, helping him out. He quickly put on the suit along with a bat she also made. He ran towards the arena. Why didn't he have underwear? Momo thought as her cheeks flushed red. Hey flaming trash bag, I am right here, I shouted, getting the attention of the entire crowd. With hundreds of heroes jumping down surrounding me. Wow, so many fans. Who wants an autograph? I yelled out as they look at me apprehensively. Gotta say one thing, I love all you equally, so just line up for my signature, I say as Detherm stepped up. Okay big boy, where do you want it? You can't possibly be this stupid. He grunted. I point my finger at him. Don't underestimate me. Internships. The heroes looked at me with pure hatred. What, no autographs? How about a picture with your favorite? I get punched by death arms. I touch my cheek as my bruise heals. My mother can hit harder than that. I say, remembering her fist of love, and yes, that is a One Piece reference. The heroes all charge at me. Now this is a fair fight, I shouted, running at them, jumping into air. I charge my bat back as I land into the crowd of heroes. Ahahaha, this is fun, I shouted, getting hit a lot. Cut. Okay, after talking to the creator of this book, I was told that a battle with that many heroes would take too many chapters. To complete the entire fight, or just very long chapter that would have taken days to complete. So to stay on schedule we are skipping it, so yeah, I say as Nezu, Ray and All Might sat across from me. You done? Nezu asked. I had to inform them. I say as Nezu shakes his head. Can you tell me what went wrong? He asked. It all started when I was born. Not that. I mean what went wrong with the sports festival. Nezu says with All Might nodding. I ran into Endeavor and he instantly attempted to roast me and my lover. So I beat his ass and his cronies. I say with Nezu nodding to my words. This lover of yours just so happens to young Todoroki's mother. All Might spoke up, pointing at Ray. Yes, she is very lovely and caring of me. I state as she nods. I thought that you were with young Hatsum or young Toga. All Might said, confused. I am with all three. They agreed, so now I am the lover of three beautiful women. Ah okay, but you do know the emotion problem you've caused to the Todoroki family? Nezu asked me. I don't give a buck, this is the real world and it doesn't give a flying buck about your feelings. Nezu nodded, touching his scar. Well, for now the school is on break for a week or so from your actions. Nezu said as I got up to leave with Ray. I shut door and we walk in silence. Do you think Shoto hates me? She asked in a worried voice. Hate you know, but he might hate his new stepdad. I said, pulling her into a side hug. Ray smiled. I am glad I fell in love with you and that you accepted me even at my age. She says, leaning her head on my shoulder. Don't use age as a way to not find love. I say, looking at my phone to see the news. Deadpool fights hundreds of heroes and is able to escape due to after multiple flashes of light. I have to thank Momo for that. A proper gift should do. I think as we enter the dorms and I see Icy Boy. Hey son, wanna play some ball? I shouted as he socked me in the face. I get it. I'm the stepdad you're supposed to hate. "Shut up, where is my mother? You took her, my shit dad told me," he shouted repeatedly, slamming his fist into my face. "Ow, that hurts, you are so going in time out," I shouted, catching his fist. "Shodo. Please stop," Ray shouted, catching his attention. He looked at a similar green-haired woman. His memories flashed back to his childhood looking at her. Her green hair turned white and Shoto recognized her as his mother. She hugged him. "I am so sorry, Shoto, I should have been a stronger mother for you and your siblings," Ray cried, holding him tightly. "And no, it's his fault for what happened to us," Shoto muttered as he hugged back. Taking out my phone, I took a picture of the scene. Cute family moment, I thought as Toga and Mei walked to my side. "Oh Zuzu, you sure know how to cause a scene," Himi says with Mei nodding. "Hey, aren't the internships supposed to happen soon?" I asked with Toga nodding. "Yeah, they were supposed to happen after the sports festival, but someone sort of ruined it," Jiro chimed in, grabbing a drink from the fridge. "My bad, but it was fun, right?" I asked as she nodded. "Okay. Class, as you know, we usually would have had internships by now, but someone had to ruin it," Azawa said, looking directly at me. "Hey, he started it, not me," I say, dodging a chair he chucked. "Well, either way, after this week you all will have internships," he tiredly states as I raise my hand. "Yes, can anyone intern with me? Technically I am more killed than the average hero," I state as he thinks about it. "Sure." "Aw dang it, I thought he would say wait, you said yes," I shout in surprise. "Just don't get them killed because that is too much paperwork for me," he says, turning into a caterpillar and slithering away. Ray and Shoto sat at the table catching up over tea. I smiled at the development. "Who wants to intern with me?" I asked as mostly everyone backed up a couple steps. "Don't take it the wrong way, bro, but we don't really trust you with our lives," Zero spoke up with everyone nodding. Suddenly Jiro ran down the stairs with a hastily packed bag and was out of breath when she got to me. "When do we leave?" she shouted with an excited voice. "Jiro, it's a very bad idea, you'll die," Mina said in a worried voice. "So this a Deadpool adventure, anything can happen. I am not passing this up," she says excitedly. "At least I got my #1 fan with me," I thought as I got my bag from my room. "Mei, is my teleporter ready?" I asked as she nodded. I carried her to the support lab because she asked me. She was on her 6th week of pregnancy, so I guess she is taking full advantage of it. Jiro followed, carrying our bags. We entered and I put her down. "Hey, earphone girl, step outside for a bit. I need to talk to him privately," Mei said with an underlying tone that meant I was in danger. She instantly got the message and left quickly, then shutting the door behind her. Honey, but what's going on?" I asked, scared of her answer. "You cheated on me, you no good piece of shit," she shouted at me, throwing a screwdriver at me that I dodged. "I have no idea what you're talking about," I shouted, dodging a helmet. "Oh really? Why yes. Then what the buck is this?" she yelled, pulling up an image of me at the sports tournament surrounded by heroes. "I don't get it," I say, confused. She then zooms in on me in the image. "I never made that suit, it can't be a spare because you destroyed it at the USJ," she yelled at me, chucking a wrench. "So who is the skank you cheated on me with, huh?" she screamed as tears flooded out of her eyes. "Is my G gear not good enough?" she cried, falling to her knees. "I really tried to make all your gear, but it seems that whore made better gear than me. That why you used it?" she cried. "Is the pregnancy doing this, or is she really upset about me using someone else's gear?" I hold her tightly. "I only use Momo's suit because it was the only one nearby," I admitted. "So that's the bitch trying to take my first and only client," Mei shouted, switching from crying to full-on rage. "I will show her trying to take my clients," Mei yelled, trying to get out of my arms to grab her rifle. "Mei, please stop. No, you promised I would be your only support technician, you cheating support items whore," Mei yelled at me. She then started to cry again. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, Izuku. It's just you cheated on me and my baby," she sobbed. "Momo's suit is nothing compared to yours. It was just a one-night stand, I swear, please stop crying. Just give me another chance, it will never happen again," I pleaded as she stopped crying. "Pinky promise," Mei said, sticking out her pinky finger. "Pinky promise," I say, interlinking our fingers. She leaned in and gave me a deep kiss. "If you ever cheat on me and on my babies again, you will know what it means to sleep on the couch. Are we clear?" she whispered into my ear in a menacing voice. "Crystal." She got up and my gear was placed on the table. God, that was hot, I thought, hiding my boner. "The teleporting watch only has one leap, so wait till it's fully charged to go," Mei said, switching moods again back to her normal self. Jiro opened the door to see the lab a total mess. "Are we good now?" she asked as Mei nodded. I grabbed my bag and placed my gear inside. She walks in and another person came in. I recognized the said person. "Holy shit, Ibara Shiozaki," I shouted, pulling her into a hug. She looked at me confused, then in her eyes it showed she realized who I was. "Izuku Midoriya Bakugo, so good to see you again," she says, returning the hug. "As Genten showed up again?" I asked. She shook her head. "No. Haven't seen him, that's thanks to you, my hero." "What did I tell you? I am not a hero," I say as she smiled. "But you're mine." I strapped my teleporting watch as it begun to spark out of control. May I ask as a light engulfed me. I suddenly appeared in the sky, falling towards a random island. I land into a massive lake so I swim up to see a couple more splashes next to me. They soon appear above water to reveal Jiro and Shiozaki. Looks like we started our adventure. I say Jiro cheers, this is going to be fun she said as Shiozaki looked terrified. This is going to be fun I shouted as I see a shark fin going towards us. Oh, island. Mei stood there as her lover disappeared from her eyes in a flash of light. He must have accidentally used the watch. It only had one charge. Mei said still watching the spot hoping he would come right back. She then checked the GPS to find it completely offline. Must have short-circuited. I knew I should have fully waterproofed it. Stupid Mei called herself. She checked the last known location to see it lead to the middle of the ocean. He has infinite stamina and the two girls are with him. He would have to swim many miles before reaching land. Could take days or weeks before I can see him again. Mei muttered looking down. He promised to always come back so I have to trust him. Mei said mounting a wrist computer to her arm. It would send her the exact location the moment the teleporting watch went back online. Izu knows my tech so if anybody could fix it him. Mei says leaving to inform Nezu and Izawa on the current predicament. Izuku grabbed Jiro and Shiozaki, we're getting the buck out of here he shouted swimming towards the shore. Holy shit that's a shark Jiro shouted, do not use the lords, not the time for that I shouted speeding up. The fin sped up chazzing after us quit chazzing you soon to be shark fin soup I yelled as my feet hit the lake floor. Picking up the girls by the waist I trudged through the water. Making it to land I see the fin still heading towards us. Ha dumb shark is going to beach itself I shouted as the girls caught their breaths. I see the small shark head pop out from the water, ha it looks cute I said as it marched onto land, now I am confused. I say looking at the creature. It was clearly a shark similar appearance to a great white but the things that makes it weird. Is the fact it has 4 legs instead of fins it was breathing air as well even it though it had gills. I crouched down oh aren't you a cutie I say trying to pet it only for the shark well, it's not in water so I should make a new name land shark fits perfectly. Well to put it simply the land shark bit off my hand. I say looking my stub bad land shark I yell at it as it gives me a sad face on the verge of tears. Wait don't cry I say petting it with my other hand only for the land shark to bite it off. Mother Dodd I am going to kick you very far away, you jaws wannabe I shouted standing up charging my leg. It tilts its head then looks at Jiro and books it to her. MRRR, it said inspecting her. A hi sharky she said as it licked her face. Sexist much like I get my hands bitten off and she gets a lick. I am ashamed for you. I say to the shark. Jiro hugs the shark that it gladly accepts. Dodd I will kill anything that tries to hurt you. Jiro stated hugging the shark tightly. That includes you. She said pointing her jacks at me. Do mind telling me what is going on I am very confused and concerned Shiozaki said covering her wet cloths with her vines. Well I don't know my watch here teleported us here. It only had one charge and we used it. So we are stuck for the foreseeable future. I admit taking it off. I see that our bags floating so I dive back into the water retrieving them. Why did this happen? All I wanted was some costume upgrades. Shiozaki says putting her head down. Meanwhile with Mei, she looked up quickly is there something wrong, Hatsume Nezu asked her. No. I just felt a missed opportunity for upgrades. Mei cryptically said as Nezu looked at her. Back to the adventure. I got back to shore to see the girls hugging the shark. You need a name. Jiro said as it tilted its head. MRRRR. Jeffrey will work and we will call you Jeff for short, Jiro said as the newly dubbed Jeff licked her face. That's a great name Jeff the land shark it just makes sense #1 fan. I say as she smiled at me. How do we leave this place Shiozaki asked, I have no idea. My GPS is busted and my one ticket out of here is busted well until I fix it. I say as she nodded. Then I heard all their stomachs rumble, looks like you guys are hungry. I said as they nodded with blush-filled faces. Well it's a good thing that I always bring food. I say pulling out a couple bags of dehydrated food. You two split it for yourselves. Then what will you eat Shiozaki asked, I want my regeneration keeps me alive so I don't really need to eat or even sleep. I said collecting some wood to make campfire. Wait you don't have to eat Jiro asked me as I shook my head yes, during my time being tortured I only ate couple times out 10 years. Oh you poor thing. Shiozaki said pulling my into a hug. It's fine I am over it, except for the doctor I am hunting. Wait if your quirk doesn't run on nutrition what does it run on she asked taking out a notebook from nowhere. My hopes, rage, and dreams. Hey I am being serious here. Mostly every single regen quirk runs on how much fat or food you have in your body. So when you get hurt it consumes it to heal the said wound. She said explaining regen quirks to me. Well you want to learn a secret that you two have to keep. I say as they nodded. I don't have a quirk per se I have a mutated gene that the doctor called the X gene. Sounds edgy. That's what I said. Well as far as he knows I am the only one in the world with it. That's why I was kidnapped. Izawa turned off your quirk though. Jiro said confused. I was acting. For the fact that I don't want nobody finding out about it. So this stays between us, I'll never bring it up. I say as they nodding. I take out my trusty endeavor lighter and light the fire for us. It was night already and I could see the forest behind us was much more livelier than it seemed. It's a great thing I got sleeping bag from Eraserhead as a sorry for using his quirk on me. Though it didn't really work. The two of you share, I'll keep watch. I say as the two hopped in. Slumber soon took them, so I watched over just in case. Jeff was snuggled beside them, curled like a dog. So I continued to work on the watch to get them home. I need better tools, and I doubt this uninhabited island has any good ones. I muttered, reaching for my phone and not feeling it in my pocket. My phone I left on the counter in the support lab. I hope May doesn't check it, I say, worried on what she would find. I get up sensing someone else watching, well, other than the readers that leave nice comments sometimes. I stare into the forest, grabbing my katana. I see hundreds of yellow glowing eyes staring right back at me. I guess we aren't alone. Monster Island. Izuku got up and steadied his blade. Out from the forest, monsters ran out towards me. Suddenly they all stopped and split apart to reveal a massive green giant. The hell is that? Wait, only no one. Oh my god, it's the Hulk, I shouted as it roared and slapped him with a tail into a tree. Wait, he didn't have a tail unless it was his, you know what, it's not the Hulk. I decided, jumping at it with my swords drawn back. It guards with its scale-covered arms only for my blades to cut through like butter. I slam my foot into its chest, breaking its ribs. It roars, ripping my arm clean off, so I kick a grenade into its mouth. It blows and all it does is cough smoke. Now that is bullshit. I say as my arm regrows. The monster looked reptilian and plant-like. So it was really hard to give the monster a name. Like Swamp Thing. Wait, that's DC, but it worked so much. The lizard, nope, not my villain. That belongs to my favorite hero. I say with multiple vines entangling me. Well, my costume does look like his, and I am a huge fan, even loving his fanfic venomized version that is technically me. I say, thinking out loud as it tries to grab me again. Flipping to the side while stabbing its side. It roars in pain, so I shove it deeper with an axe kick. I pick up a boulder and repeatedly bash it down on its head till all there's left is smooshed brain matter. Well, the lizard or the Hulk wouldn't have died like this, so it's neither. Anyone else, I asked as the monsters bowed. Huh. They then picked me up and threw me into the air. New king, they chanted as I was flung into the air. Jiru woke up and looked at the scene. What is happening, she asked, confused, with Shiozaki questioning it as well. I think I just became a king, I shouted. Oh, that's cool. Well, good night. Jiru said, going back to sleep with Shiozaki. Here, I thought my biggest fan would care more. Then again, she is very tired from today. I say as I get put down. So what do I call you guys, I asked. Well, we all live here and we call ourselves monsters. Oh, okay. Then you mind telling me why am I king? Also no takebacks, I am already king. The dog-like person stepped up. The one who beats the previous king gets to be in charge of us. Our parents all got here many years ago and we've been stuck ever since. He spoke as I listened. Any way out? I both know. The storm that covers this land prevents any leaving. So you so-called monsters live here in harmony, I ask as they nodded. Well, there us, the occasional massive sea creature that tries eat us. I look around to see a large array of so-called monsters. So you all call yourselves monsters? Yes sir, they chanted. Please, my father is called sir. I am just Deadpool, also a so-called monster in the eyes of some people. I stated as they nod. Yes sir, Deadpool. I grinned, seeing the fun I could do with this. Can you show me where the throne is? I asked. Yes, I can. A very fella said. He almost looked like a ball of very fluffy hair. I picked up Jeff and the two sleeping girls and followed the fuzzball. When you get my gear, I need it for later. I ordered as a rock golem monster did the task. As I entered the forest, I saw a complete town filled with life and agriculture. Though a single match would burn it all down, but why would I do that? I am the king now. Entering a massive tree, I saw a massive throne within. If you are wondering, one of our previous kings was a massive tree. We're inside him right now. Don't say it like that, say it with more pauses and glamour, I say as he nodded. I place down my sleep companions. I sit upon the throne. This is very uncomfortable. We'll make you one for your size. Since you're one of our smaller kings. The fuzzball said, rolling away. Mutant types that don't know their real origin in this world. Well, at least these people live in harmony. I thought as Jiru walked up to me and sat down. Quite the upgrade. She stated, amused by the situation. One day here and you're king. Gotta say our friends wouldn't believe it. Well, this place seems peaceful. I say, so are you going to burn it down? She asked. I was just thinking about it. I thought so. Jiru chuckled as Jeff snuggled close to her. Can you help me with a hero name? She asked me as I looked at her confused. Why me? Well, you are my greatest source of inspiration for being a hero. Well, after the incident. She muttered, when you almost committed suicide. She looked down. Why did you have to mention it? Well, I tried to the same with Endeavor. It worked for a bit till I came back. I admitted. Well, at least we got something in common. I say in cheerful voice. Yea, she uttered in a small voice. Look on the bright side, I can train you here along with Abari. I am an expert fighter along with marksman. Because in this world a lot of our problems and quirks can be dealt with guns. She smiled. Jeff said, you're hungry, let's see if there's any food. Jiru said, walking away. Ibara walked up behind me and sat down next to me. The Lord shall be happy to see this peaceful place. She said as I smiled. You okay, I asked. I am worried for the others wondering where I went. They'll be fine and so will you. Thanks again for what you did for me. She says, sighed, hugging me. I thought I could handle Jeeton's constant harassment and name calling, but I didn't think he would attempt to touch me. She said, leaning her head on my shoulder. I patted, getting pricked by her hair. If he did, he wouldn't be alive. Wait, I would have killed if you didn't tell me not to. You have a kind heart, but don't let it blind you as you grow. I say as she nods. Jiru and the fuzzball comes back. Then I see what I was waiting for. It was a golden throne that red seat cushions. The gold was lined and encrusted in emeralds. On the throne was a golden crown and a red robe that looked great. I walked up and placed the robe on my shoulders and the crown onto my head. Now I am starting to feel like a king. This shall be a great time for my new kingdom, I proclaim as the monster cheer with Jiru and Shiozaki standing by my side. I pick up Jeffrey, you will be my loyal royal guard dog, but he's a shark. Jiru spoke up as I laughed. It still works. This is my kingdom, it shall be called Deadpoolopolis. Back at the society. Sitting on his throne, Izuku watched as Jiru and Shiozaki trained, honing their skills. He went back to fixing the watch. He may be king, but he has a pregnant fiancée that he has to get back to. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, almost complete, just need a power source to power it, though I can't fix the GPS for a bit, so May can't track me for now. He says, throwing a knife at Jiru only for her to catch with her earjacks. Nice, you are almost like Daredevil. Who's that, she asked, a blind guy that sees with his ears. Cool, but the name doesn't really fit because he's lawyer. He explained as she looked lost. So is he a hero or a lawyer, Shiozaki asked. Both, Izuku said with his hands out only for Jeff to bite off his right one. Jeff, no biting. He said, patting the land shark's head. Hey, you said storm surrounds and hides this place from the outside world, right? Izuku asked a nearby giant rock. That a rock. Jiru says, pointing at it. Wrong, I'm a boulder, the boulder says, getting up from the ground it was stuck in. See, Izuku says with Jiru looking confused at the situation. But yes, there is a rampant storm surrounding this island. I should know, I've been here since the beginning. Really now, how old are you then? Izuku asked, getting slammed to the ground by a slap. Never ask a woman's age, the boulder shouted, rolling away into the forest. Noted, he stated, getting up. So you have an idea how to get back home? Shiozaki asked. Yep, just need some energy, Izuku shouted. But let's have some fun, we have an entire island to explore, he says, picking the two girls up. Wait, Jiru shouted as Izuku jumped off a cliff. Jeff watched them fall, so he just waddled back to the castle to wait for them. Wahoo, he said, grabbing a vine with his feet and swinging through the forest. Ibara vine ball, he shouted as Ibara used her vines to cover them into a large ball. The trio rolling throughout the forest at great speeds, knocking over trees as they rolled. Soon they came to a stop coming out of the shed. They looked at each other and began to laugh. Okay, that was fun, Jiru stated. Where exactly are we? Ibara asked, looking around, seeing unfamiliar plants. The three began to explore the area. Soon it became apparent that the plants were not what they seemed. Why did they come to this conclusion, you say? Well, one bit off Izuku's entire arm. To say the least, they did not see that coming. The three fought them with great teamwork till Izuku got a great idea. Hey, they are plants and stuff, right? He asked, ripping the jaws off a giant fly-eating plant. I am pretty sure that what they are, Jiru yelled, slicing multiple sunflowers in half with a blade Izuku gave her. I think it's pretty obvious, Ibara shouted, restraining dozens of other plants. The reason I asked because I have a couple matches in my pocket, he shouted, taking a blow for Jiru from the front. The roots tore through his chest as he held them back away from Jiru. Izuku, are you okay? Ibara yelled. I'm fine, the matches are in my back pocket, grab them and take Jiru out of here, he shouted as the roots and other plants dug into his skin. Jiru took the matches from pocket. Where do I light them? On fire, she shouted, stomping her boot on a wild vine, trying to grab her. Just light me on fire, Ibara, grab her and go now, he yelled as Jiru lit him on fire. Shiozaki grabbed her and used her hair to climb them out as the plant screamed in pain. She then quickly used her hair to climb the cliff they jump off of. The two collapsed at the top, watching the fire spread across the forest. The wails of the plants were heard as they burned. You think he will be okay? Ibara asked Jiru. If he survived Endeavor, he can definitely survive this. Also, I didn't know you use your hair like extra limbs. I didn't know either, I usually just use it to restrain and protection. Looks like my mobility is much greater than I first thought. She said as the fire got bigger. You know, we got lucky that the fire won't spread to the rest of the island. Jiru said, looking into the fire, watching for a sign of him. Soon the fire died out as rain began to fall. Shiozaki made a shelter for the two with her hair as they waited for Izuku to come back. It's been a couple hours, you think he's dead? Nope. He won't die from a little fire. Jiru says, a little worried for his health. You know I am glad that you are sure that I am okay. Izuku stated, pulling himself up and away the cliff. Ioka instantly hugs him, wiping away some stray tears. Oh, you were worried, he says, hugging her tightly, patting the back of her head. Izuku pulls Ibara into the hug as well. I know you were worried too. Ibara nodded to his words. I needed power for the watch, and it's raining right now. Looks like I found my charger for my watch. I say, looking at the sky. Go for it, just come back for us. We will be at town with the monsters. I smiled in my tattered suit as they walked away. Time for daddy to go to work, I shouted, climbing the biggest tree in the area. Holding out my pistol into the sky, I saw the sky rumbling with bright lights. Hey Thor, I think you're hot, I shouted as lightning struck me. I felt the entire current course throughout my entire body. Cooking me like a nice piece of fried chicken. I fell from tree, slamming onto the ground like a ragdoll. I groaned as my bones healed, so did my burnt skin. Sitting up, I looked at the watch to see it had enough power to make one jump. That was so cool. I said, making my way back to my kingdom. It felt great being a king. To have a place under my full protection with people that backed me up. Making it back, I entered my room to see the two girls sitting on my bed. You two need something, I asked as the two nodded. We wanted to repay you for trying to get us home and for being lit on fire to kill the plants. Kyoka says, twirling her jacks. Oh, it's okay, I said, to light me on fire, and I did technically got us on Monster Island or Deadpoolopolis. So you two are fine. I say, hopping into bed. The bar and Kyoka looked at each other and sighed. May told me that you don't really get hints. So we have to forward. Kyoka said, taking off her cloths and hopping into my bed. Oh, I get it, you guys wants to sleep in my bed. I'll just sleep on the couch. I say, getting up as Jiro pins me down on my bed. How dense can you be? I love you, you big green idiot, she stated, kissing me on the lips. I looked at her as my brain processed what she just stated. Then Ibara laid next to me, giving a kiss as well. Izuku.X has stopped working. Izuku said as his eyes went blank. Did we break him? Ibara asked as Kyoka looked at Izuku confused. Soon he went back online. Sorry, here, I thought that I got better at catching these things. He said, giving the two girls a kiss each. If you want, we can go all the. Yes, the two said, fully stripping. Might as well cuddle. I say as the two dive on me. On the outside of his castle, they could be all heard by the monsters who spread the news to the other, saying to each other that the king was mating. We must prepare for potential offspring. Our king is strong, so will be his children, and they will also lead us. So prepare, a goopy monster roared as they all prepared gifts for the future. This is the first time a king will have offspring, so everyone be festive. The next morning, the king is mighty strong to still be going. A furball monster said, checking the sundial to see it was almost afternoon. Couple more hours. Izuku exited his room with the two girls sleeping in his shattered bed. That was great, but Ibara was like a totally different person. It's always the quiet ones. He said, packing up his gear and grabbing his new crown. I sir are leaving? A blue boulder asked him. Yes, I need a couple things to finish before I can properly rule this kingdom. Izuku stated as the rock nodded. Well, we will all be waiting for your return, whether it be a couple days or a century. I won't be gone that long. I say. The girls soon got ready, but limping a bit. I grabbed their hands as the teleporting watch went off. Jeff ran to us and latched onto my leg as we teleported. It won't take us all the way, so I chose the closest city, that happened to be Hosu City. I say as we teleported to a roof to see the city in flames. The hell is happening? Kyoka shouted as I spotted a certain Naomu that started my whole journey. MRRR, Jeff says, scared of the creature. Kyoka picked him up and he hid in her arms. I petted him, reassuring him that he was safe. It flapped its wings, dodging Endeavor's fire. Tsubasa, I shouted his name as I looked at the girls. Oh. We will be waiting for you. Kyoka said with Ibara nodding. Putting on my damaged suit, I turned for battle. Time to buck shit up. Why am I the hostage? I was drooling at the sight. The bucker that tricked me is right in front of me. All ripe for me to take out. One more step. One more step. One more. One more. That rang in my head as I leaped off another roof. My suit was falling apart, my gear was trashed, and my watch is out of juice. With all that, I kept running, seeing Endeavor's fire in the distance. I was salivating at the thought of smashing his brains out with my foot. I didn't care what stood in my way. One step closer to the doctor as well. This is just great, I can't wait, I shouted, launching myself farther. Ahahaha, it feels like I am kid during Halloween wanting more candy, I shouted, making another massive leap. Can't wait to see his guts all over the ground, I say, taking another leap, reaching my target. I land on his back as his eye rolled back to look at me. His pupil grew big, then dilated. Oh, you do recognize me? That makes this a lot better, I say, taking out my twin katanas. Deadpool Endeavor yelled as I turned back. I am trying to have a moment, so buck off, I shouted, chucking my katana at him. It dug deeply into his leg, forcing him to stop flying and land. I turned back to my old friend and hold out my other blade. Grabbing his wing, I dig my blade into it, tearing it off. This little piggy went to the market, I shouted as he screamed in pain. We began fall as we passed a group of heroes. I slice off his other wing, crashing us straight into the pavement. I stood over him as he tried to slash at me. I caught the fist and twisted it, breaking both of our arms. The difference was my healed as his didn't. I did the same to his other limbs as he screamed in pain. Feel it. Feel what you caused to me. Feel every bit of pain I felt when you betrayed me. I said, slamming my foot into his ribs, breaking them. Then was dislocating the socket joints. Then bending the elbows and kneecaps the wrong way. Grabbing parts of his skin and peeling it off like an orange. First was the arms, then was the chest that felt like mush. He kept struggling to get up. Can't have you moving, I say, inputting my blade into his chest straight into the ground, making him stuck. Then I started tearing off the fingers and toes slowly by twisting them slowly clockwise. Then I do the same to the limbs, starting with the arms. Your grandfather did this to me in the first hour of me being captured, Tsubasa, so remember that you did this to yourself. I say, staring into his eyes that have gone blank. Oh, you broke already. I knew you weak, but you couldn't even break my 10-year record. I say, smashing my foot into his head. Obliterating its contents, spraying blood everywhere. Brain matter was everywhere as well, along with skull fragments. The eyes were smashed like grapes. He looked like if a zombie threw up after eating a whole person. This feels so refreshing, I say, looking over into an alleyway to see Kitsuki, Iida and Shoto looking disgusted. Hey, Kitsuki says, looks at me, waving at me. Hey, what are you guys doing in Hosu? I was interning with All Might's mentor. He stated as Shoto spoke up. I interned with my dad and we wanted to capture the hero killer. I turned my head to look Iida for his answer and he looked ashamed. I interned here with a hero to get revenge and kill the hero killer for crippling my brother. He admitted, making pause for a bit. So you are telling me Mr. Goody Two Shoes over here wanted to become a murderer for revenge after telling me shit about my revenge, I shout as he reeled back. Now who is the hypocrite I see with my two eyes, I say as he looked away, but seriously, you went kill a person called hero killer. Here I thought you were smart. I laughed seeing that the hero killer was tied up behind them. Well, at least you did something right. I say as a group of heroes appeared with Endeavor landing in front of them. And shit. Sorry for this. I say, grabbing Kitsuki and putting my blade to his neck. None of you move or I slice his bucking neck, I shouted as the heroes backed up. Really, why am I the hostage? He shouted. Shut up, you were the closest. Boy, Brad, I told you to stay on the train, an old man shouted at Kitsuki. Shut it, old man. It's Gran Torino. Whatever, old man. I will show you old after you get out of this. I am beating your ass. Bring it. Wait, Gran Torino, I shouted, throwing Kitsuki to the ground. Can I have your autograph? I yelled, taking out a notebook and pencil. Oh sure, sonny. Anything for a fan. He said, signing my notebook. Ooh, oh, this is the best day ever, I say, throwing my hands up. Then I felt a sharp blade at my neck. Stay back or I kill him. A newly awoken Stain said. How did I become the hostage? I yelled. Shut it or you're dead. Okay, now this how it's going to go. I am going to get away with this guy. What's your name? He asked me. Oh, it's Deadpool. Oh cool. Wait, like the villain killer Vigilante? He asked me as I nodded my head. You're the one All Might stated to be a hero. He let me go as he points at me. This is a hero, one that will do whatever it takes to make sure people are safe, getting rid of the sick people of this world that stomp on people with weak, mutant and villainous quirks, he proclaimed, releasing a choking causing killer's aura. All Might's was stronger. Kitsuki and I thought as I watched the others back up. Fear. There is only two men I would let kill me, Deadpool, and All Might yelled as the rest backed up more as he marched towards them, till he stopped in place. Later we found that a rib punctured his lung, which made me wonder what the hell they did to him. I tied him snugly, then handed him to the heroes who gladly took him. They snapped out of their fear and did their jobs. Have a night, y'all. I say, waving goodbye as they waved by as well. Wait, we are supposed to capture him too, one hero shouted. Forget it. He is long gone by now. Just focus on the injured kids and the hero killer. Endeavor said as the police arrived. I walked until I found a closed cloth store. I looked down to see my destroyed suit and I was covered in blood. Well, now might as well get changed. I say, breaking the door to get in. Quickly grabbing a black t-shirt, then a red coat and a pair of faded blue jeans. Then I just dropped off a roll of cash and took a bag, placing all my gear in it. Leaving, I go back to where Kyoka and Abara were. I found them inside a small cafe, so I smiled and entered. Can I buy you fine ladies some drinks? I asked them as they smiled at me. Yes, you can, hot stuff. Kyoka said, poking my forehead with her jack. Don't mind if I do. I say, taking a seat with them and having a very interesting conversation that ends up leading us to a certain hotel. Just going to say, in the morning found out that I was banned from another hotel, so mission accomplished. I don't know anymore. I am just so happy right now. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.